Michigan 42, Ohio State 27. The winning streak in the game is over for the Buckeyes. The Big Ten championship streak is over for the Buckeyes. Unless something catastrophic happens in college football, I think the playoff chances are over for the Buckeyes. Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. As always on Buckeye Talk, we are grading C.J. Stroud's performance. Doug, you have the stats there on redshirt freshman's first game in the game.
34-49 for 394, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 8.0 yards per attempt.
Go ahead and give us your grade on C.J. Stroud's performance.
You know, it's hard, man. I do think weather mattered, right? I don't know that weather took him out of the game. I thought he threw a couple flutter balls that he doesn't usually throw. I also thought Mike McDonald and Jim Harbaugh talked about it in the postgame news conference. I thought Mike McDonald, the Michigan defensive coordinator, had a plan for him. And they talked about disguising coverages. They talked about different packages and different looks. And they said that Ohio State sometimes didn't know what they were looking at. And that is exactly what you want to do to a first-year starting quarterback. So, you know, it's hard with CJ because the numbers are always there. 394, 34-49, no picks. The numbers are always there. But were there moments today where it felt like he was going to win this game for them? I mean, the offense did keep him in it late a little bit if the defense could have gotten a stop. I'll give him a B. Like, I don't think they lost this game because of C.J. Stroud, but for a guy a week ago and a lot of people anointed as the Heisman frontrunner, also did not have that level of play. But against a good defense in rough weather, I think that's kind of understandable. So I'll give him a B.
One contributing thing that C.J. Stroud brought up was he lost his voice early this week. His voice was definitely cracking in the postgame press conference. He was trying not to use that as an excuse, but yet he also said, well, I'm blaming getting sick on why we had 5 false start penalties today and some other problems with communication. He got sacked 4 times, season high 4 times. I'm going to also, though, give him a B. I thought the performance from the passing game was probably adequate enough if it had been combined with a better run game. I thought Michigan just won this game up front, really on both sides of the ball, and they were doing things, both the incursions they were making from a defensive standpoint, but also, as I talked about a few times on the pod, that we still hadn't seen a game where another offense came out and executed so well that the pressure was going to be on Ohio State to have to execute every drive, and it just felt like that whole second half. Anytime Ohio State didn't get a touchdown, you felt like they were just slipping farther down the mountain a little bit, and they couldn't climb back up. So his performance was not good enough to win, but I'm going to call it a B. Steven, what is your grade?
I'm going to give him an A- because I think he did things to win the game. He just didn't get any help. He had the rollout when he's feeling the pressure, and then he finds Jackson Smith-Njigba wide open. Jackson Smith-Njigba drops the pass. He had another one of those Oregon moments where he takes off. He actually ran, and it should have been a touchdown. Holding call. I mean, you can't blame him for the penalties. You can't blame him for a lot of false start. I understand he wants to take some of that on himself because of a hoarse voice, but they clap a lot in college football, and so you should kind of know the snap count. You work on being in these types of environments all the time. It's week 12, not week 2. Some of that is a lot of that I'm going to put on the offensive line. He wasn't perfect. He had the ball that should have been a touchdown to Chris Olave. That was a little inaccurate, whether you want to blame it on the weather or not. He had the ball to Jeremy Rucker that probably should have been a touchdown, whether you want to blame it on weather or not. But I thought he did some things in this game to where, had they pulled this out, we would have looked at all those moments that C.J. Stroud was doing. He just didn't get the necessary help from the weapons in order to execute it.
I will say I don't think an Ohio State quarterback can get any kind of A when you lose to Michigan, even if you're 60 for 60 for 1,000 yards. So
I hear that sentiment. I would also say things like his touchdown run wouldn't have happened if not for the holding. That's why he was able to run for that. But at the same time, I see where you're coming from. I think at the end of the day, the performance wasn't good enough to win because they didn't. It's 42-27 Michigan, and get the text. We'll keep them coming in the offseason or right through bowl season, I guess. I'm shifting already to the offseason after one loss. Right through bowl season, 614-350-3315 for Buckeye Talk.